Hello and welcome to the gaming segment of the show. And today I've got a pretty epic title that's come out quite recently, and it's called King's Quest. Now, King's Quest is actually a video game series that goes back to the 80s actually, because they've had so many King's Quest, up to King's Quest 8 before this, but there hasn't been a new King's Quest game for a long time. Now let me talk about the history of this franchise. It started out as pretty much one of those traditional classic point-and-click adventure puzzle games back through the 80s and 90s, and it was very standard, run-of-the-mill sort of adventure point-and-click games, but it sort of left its mark on the legacy of gaming, and everyone sort of knows King's Quest, even those who never actually played the game. So now a new King's Quest is out, and everyone's sort of wondering, does it actually stand up to its predecessors? And this is quite an important question because it's not the same developers. This one is by The Odd Gentleman. It's a game company that really doesn't have a lot in its repertoire so far, but King's Quest actually is looking really nice. And if you want to find the right one, you search King's Quest 2015. But let's jump into the game so I can show you all about it. And it's looking nice from the start, actually. So what's King Quest actually like? Well, the big focus of the game really is the narrative and the storyline, and that's sort of always been a focus of the King's Quest games, but this is sort of a reimagining of King's Quest. It's not really a sequel or a prequel or anything like that, and the storyline actually takes place as you are the main character, Graham, and you are already a really old king, and you're sort of in bed and stuff like that, and you're telling stories of your past adventures. And the events of this King's Quest take place between the episodes, the previous episodes of King's Quest. So it sort of fills in the gaps. But the nice thing about this is you don't have to play the old King's Quest to really get this one, because it sort of fills you in from the beginning as to what's going on. Now, of course, you can't fit all of that storyline into a single game. This game is being released in episodic contents like the Telltale game series, and going to be 5 episodes. Right now, only episode 1 is out, but you can get the whole pack like a season pass, or just buy the first episode and see if you like it. So that's a nice option you have there. In terms of gameplay, you're basically just sort of wandering around, exploring the world, trying to figure out what's going on, and starting out, you're just doing simple tasks to sort of win a competition. You're trying to make a name for yourself in an area called Daventry. So it's sort of really medieval, but it's also filled with wit, humor, and style, and really a lot of character in the game, which sort of define King's Quest games. Once you get into the world, you're going to find really interesting characters, really unique storylines, and absolutely gorgeous environments. And basically, if you just stop moving at any point in the game, it looks like a beautiful painting. So it just looks fantastic. Music is phenomenal. It's like a really good soundtrack. They spent no expense on the music. And I have to point out the absolutely amazing voice acting in this game, because the voice acting in the new King's Quest is some of the best voice acting I've heard in almost any video game out there. It's just really great. It's looking to be a really great series, and you definitely have to check it out and watch how it goes. Currently, we only have episode 1, so we don't know how the whole thing is going to play out. So, is King's Quest for you? Well, if you are old enough to have ever played any of the older King's Quest, then yes, you're gonna love this one. The wit is the same, it's funny, it's interesting, it's unique. It's just really unique in its own way, and without copying the older King's Quest, it does actually stand on its own very well. You can actually buy the first episode on Steam around 40 ringgit, and there's a DLC pack that gives you the rest of the season pass, which is 115 ringgit out there. And of course you can buy the whole season pack from the start, and it's 150 ringgit. So either way, it's about the same price. King's Quest is on PC, the PlayStation PlayStations and the Xboxes, so if you like the consoles, I personally prefer to play it on the PC with a controller. I just like to do that. Just in general, as much as I've seen so far, the game is one of the most refined and sort of perfected games I've ever come across. They've really put everything they've got into it. And if you're wondering how much entertainment value you're going to get from the first episode, well, it took me between 4 to 5 hours for episode 1. So if you're going to buy the whole 5 episodes, it's probably going to run you somewhere between 20 to 30 hours, depending on how fast you actually play through puzzle games and how clever you are in solving things. So overall, King's Quest is definitely must check it out. And if you're interested, go check out some of the older King's Quest. They're a little weird, but they are sort of part of the gaming landscape. So before I go, let me explain my very stylish surroundings here. We're at Blues and Bees at Lot 10 in KL, and it's just a very classy place. It's sort of a retro American themed eatery, so very, very cool.
I'm so tired. This is really knackering, but it's fun. I feel a little bit fitter, I feel a little bit more ready to go, but it is good. I feel good, I feel good. I'm not that fit, but I'm sure I can work on it. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Thanks to Fitness Republic for letting us try the Miha Body Tech, and thank you for watching as well. And of course, we'll be back same time, same place next week. In the meantime, just log on to the Astro Awani website if you want more information, if you want more content. Everything is online. My name is Adam Carruthers, and I need to disconnect.